And Eric Mandel, founder and director of Middle East Political Information Network, joining us now from Florida. Thank you so much for your time. No doubt you've been hearing part of this conversation. Your sense of this wave of attacks in the space of under 24 hours, it's the most direct confrontation between Iran and Israel since that ceasefire in April, both sides stopping, but leaving open a window as such to resume attacks. Your thoughts, your assessment?
First of all, Benita, thank you for having me. We have to remember that ceasefire that was in April, what we were supposed to get for it was the opening of the Straits of Hormuz. That never happened. So going to what's happening right now. So why did Iran maybe risk an attack by attacking Israel at this point of time? I think they believed that the president would stop Israel from responding significantly. I think in some ways I maybe feel a little differently than what I've heard in the past, is I think it really permanently links the Lebanon front with the Iran negotiations. But I think maybe the most important thing is that Iran is worried Israel could tip the balance in Lebanon, so much so that by degrading Hezbollah further, that maybe what seems to be an impotent Lebanese armed forces and government could actually start fulfilling what it's supposed to do according to UN Security Council resolutions 1559 and 1701, that they will start actually confronting Hezbollah. Iran's goal also is to create a gap between President Trump and Israel, and Bibi Netanyahu. And I think a lot of the things that we're hearing, I think one of the things about the president saying such strong statements, obviously he wants this to be on public record, but I do believe there are behind the scenes orchestrations, possibly between Netanyahu and Trump. I would not dismiss that. And I think there's certain posturing that's going on here. But I don't see any progress happening in the negotiations with Iran, despite Lebanon, unless America does what it really needs to do, the minimum, forcefully open the Straits of Hormuz, or unfortunately, I hope not, the president concedes on the more important issues, ballistic missiles, and all of the nuclear issues.
One of the points that Donald Trump has been consistent on is the fact that he said in a tweet even earlier today, the blockade would remain in place and in full force and effect until a final deal is reached. He also seemed to think that things should move quickly. It doesn't seem that is the case. What is your sense there about what it means, the Strait of Hormuz, the stalemate, and what it means economically? You talk about the pressure he is facing at home. What does this all mean for him if he cannot get vessels to be operating and navigating the way they used to before this war all unfolded?
So the president's economic fury can work, but it needs many months, which goes back to the fact that the president hasn't explained to the American people why he needs more time, why the Straits of Hormuz is so important, what are its implications around the world, what is failure, what is success. And I think he's missing a gigantic opportunity here to really advance and not just watch the polls keep decreasing about support of Israel and support of this war. If the American people, and I do believe there are enough independents out there who want to hear why and what we're doing. In essence, though, the president needs to understand that his best and only chance not to be remembered as a failure in history for what's going on is still going back to regime change, which the Israelis understand, but my government doesn't seem to be. When I was in Congress recently, I think many of the people in Congress, especially the Senate, understood that. And then the president could have some real leverage if he brings back the idea of regime change or begins actually helping coordinate opposition behind the scenes, even if it's not public. The Iranians will know about it and they'll be forced to look internally, and that will be about their survival. And that's where they'll concede, and that's where the president will get leverage. And then we can talk about decreasing ballistic missiles, which are an existential threat to Israel and the volumes they were creating.
So many questions about potential regime change, but it certainly does feel like that is going to take a long time, if in fact it does happen. Eric Mandel, as always, appreciate your insights live from Florida. Thank you very much for being with us on this special edition.
Thank you.
Be well.